Well, we can fairly call this a 49ers update from a screensaver. This is Hallstatt, Austria. This is room number 23, so it's perfect. We can talk about Christian McCaffrey from the Seward Hotel, just above the plaza, where the locals in this town of 778 people, which can host as many as 30,000 tourists per day, hang out. We had a few drinks with the locals, and we got to see a side of Hallstatt that tourists don't get to see. We might have been the first tourists in the bell tower of the church to help him raise the flag to end confirmation ceremonies, which happened on this early day in July. Just for fun. It was a scary walk up, but a big bell at the top of the church. And then, you get the Instagram shot. They've called this the most Instagrammable city in the world. That's where all the tourists flock to like sheep. But then you get the non-basic shot, the one that isn't possible to get, usually, unless you're really lucky, like we were coming in here. Visited with Mike in the bar. Mike, not speak hardly any English, but he loves San Francisco, and he kept on saying Mike Douglas. Mike Douglas, I guess he likes the movie The Game, featuring Michael Douglas. So you can always use Google Translate, which was what Margot was able to pop open. We learned a valuable lesson here in Hallstatt, as now I'm on a hike high above this town. Not quite as high as the bell tower, but the hike is beautiful as well. But we learned a valuable lesson, and that is, these days, with over-tourism being such a massive, massive problem, again, I said 30,000 people a day can visit Hallstatt. People will flock to a destination just to take a photo from the spot that they saw on Instagram, but they won't actually interact with the destination itself in an authentic manner. So that's something that we picked up yesterday. Just go into the town square, have a drink. That drink can turn into 5, 6, 7 drinks, and it can turn into an awesome, awesome experience. Hallstatt, Austria, actually, I think, needs more people to stay overnight instead of just taking the ferry in or the bus in and leaving without ever taken a second to learn a little bit about this place. The oldest continually functioning salt mine in the world is here. That's how this city got started in prehistoric times, the Hallstatt era. Now it is arguably the most beautiful little town in the world. The mountains right outside of town, those rise about 4,500 feet above the pristine lake, which is warm enough to swim in at this time of the year. But to give you some perspective, El Capitan in Yosemite, that's about a 3,000-foot face of sheer granite. That's the rock climbing mecca, Alex Honnold. We were at El Capitan earlier this year when we swung through Yosemite, but this is 4,500 feet above the lake versus 3,000 feet for El Capitan. And then you toss an entire European town into that whole mix, and that's how you get this spectacular combination. On to the 49ers update, talking Christian McCaffrey, because room number 23, just like tram number 23 in Prague earlier this offseason, brought us to the topic of Christian McCaffrey's birthday. I think that we now are thematically focused on something beautiful, and I think that the totality of pieces healthy for the 49ers offense can create something beautiful. It did in 2023, and way too many people are forgetting about that. They broke efficiency records in 2023, but people were too busy arguing about whether Brock Purdy should get more credit or Christian McCaffrey should get more credit or Kyle Shanahan should get more credit to fully appreciate and realize what the 49ers were doing. But my favorite article from that season came before the Super Bowl, when I called up Dick Vermeil, I called up Mike Martz, I called up Kurt Warner, the greatest show on turf Rams, because the 49ers put up numbers that hadn't been seen since the greatest show on turf Rams about a quarter century prior. And, the Christian McCaffrey, Marshall Faulk connection was easy to make. The Kurt Warner going from stocking groceries to, league MVP, Super Bowl champion, comparison was easy to make to Brock Purdy and Mr. Irrelevant Isaac Bruce and Brandon Ayuk. I mean, I think the tight end position is the one area that was markedly different from a personnel standpoint for the 49ers, who ran a different scheme. But the point remains the same. San Francisco just bludgeoned people with its offense in 2023, and we're not all that far removed from that period of time. Deebo Samuel is no longer on the team, but Deebo Samuel obviously regressed big time as a player in 2024. And I think that the 49ers, they're trying to modernize. They're trying to get faster. Because in 2024, once this offense aged and things started decaying for the 49ers, it became very clear that separation was their biggest weakness. Separation, and obviously the first down running ability wasn't very good without Christian McCaffrey. So they've striven over the course of this offseason, while they've renovated the defense, they've striven to make the offense faster. Out with Deebo Samuel, in with Jordan Watkins. Jacob Cowing, second year, maybe that speed is going to be put to some use now for Jacob Cowing, because last year he was a little bit too light, right, to actually deliver. I think that Brandon Ayuk is a big-time linchpin for this offense. You do need a good X receiver. Now, the thing is that Demarcus Robinson played some X for the Rams last year, so I think he's capable of doing it. But this offense will not be able to unlock its very highest level of potential unless Brandon Ayuk is available at that X position, and you use Robinson as a supplementary weapon. We cannot forget about Jawan Jennings either, because in 2023, Jennings was not as established as he is now. 2024, the 49ers down year, definitely yielded something positive in terms of the prognosis for Jawan Jennings, and he can play any of the receiver positions, which is so important for a team that does have some availability concerns there. But the ultimate binding piece for everything is Christian McCaffrey. The mere thought of a threat in the NFL can buy 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second, and that is enough in this league of speed to be all the difference between shut tight and completely wide open. And that's how the 49ers offense can gain the edge that it had in 2023. Ultimately, Christian McCaffrey helps unlock this 49ers offense in two distinct ways. One, he helps dig them out of that number 20 finish in first down run efficiency. Two, he helps the separation issue, not just by the separation that he generates himself, but by the fact that defenses must focus at least some attention on him. It's the Steph Curry effect. Even if Steph doesn't shoot the three, he's drawing defenders toward him. And that's how Christian McCaffrey can help launch this 49ers offense back into the beautiful stratosphere.